All right, so here we go. We are back from the fresh early show of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And as I promised, it will be an early review on this. And this is what we're getting ready to do. Now, this first review, originally it was going to be with the Super Twins, ready to make their debut. But some other plans happen for them, some things they have to do and get in line, so or get straightened out tomorrow. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it real. I won't say real quick. I'm gonna do the review on my own, and then we're gonna compare it to what they say when their review comes out, probably tomorrow, uh, which would be the actual opening date or was considered the opening date for Black Panther for Wakanda Forever. So, first of all, am I disappointed with the Black Panther Wakanda Forever? And I must say, no, not really. Thought it was a very good movie. Uh, yes, it was a very good movie. Compared to Black Panther, it almost feels like it kind of was a totally different type of movie. Which, like I said, I'm not upset about that at all. Um, Especially with T'Challa not being a living character in this particular Black Panther movie. So I'm gonna run down what I thought because I was typing my thoughts as I was watching the movie because I know that I was gonna forget. So I was typing stuff down in my phone. Like, let me see what I'll remember. Okay, so I'm not gonna go like scene by scene by scene. I'm just gonna tell you some of my random thoughts as I was watching. I know there was uh, so before I start, there will be spoilers in this review. So if you don't like spoilers and you're planning on going to see it, don't watch it right now at this point because it's going to be some stuff that I'm going to say that's going to be spoiler. It's going to let you know what happened. I don't know if you can escape not finding out what happens because I know how the other social medias are and people are already putting that stuff out there and their opinions and all that kind of stuff. Uh, now I'm just letting you know before you even start um, what is going on with this. So, um, first part of the review, there was a part in the movie that they had the council, and one of the leaders was one of the ladies that's in Black Panther. Um, and like most of of course, we know from the first Black Panther and now on this Black Panther is multi. I don't know how to put it. The designs, the outfits, the all the different things are just kind of different, and we understand that it's supposed to be a reflection of multicultural African countries and stuff like that. Because you got the guy that has the big thing in this, or really his tribe, or yeah, his tribe, his group of people. In the Wakandians have the thing in their mouth that stretches their lips out, and you know, it's just different. So there was this one woman, and I don't remember her from the original Black Panther, but her hair almost looked like they were kind of depicting dreadlocks, but it didn't quite look like dreadlocks. It looked like she had poop hanging off her hair. I'm just saying. It's kind of clay looking, but poop looking like it was hanging off her head. It wasn't a good look. I didn't like that. It kind of threw me back a little bit watching her. And she wasn't in a lot of the movie. It was this time, and anytime the council met or something like that, they kind of showed her. She would have a nice little speaking part. So big ups to her for getting that. extra money, because in Hollywood or in movies, film, that's how you get extra. The you get into the real good pay when you have a speaking part. So she had a few speaking parts, but the hair was kind of. They could have did the hair makeup or whatever you want to call it. They could have did it better. It just looked off-putting. So that's why I said she looked like she had poop hanging from her head. Okay, I'm gonna skip that part. The next thing I wrote, and I'm gonna come back and say that on my wrap up. Uh, at first, because I didn't know much about the characters from the underworld. Namor, I really didn't know much about him, so I didn't know what to expect from him. The first scene, I was kind of lost. I was like, I don't really get this dude, Namor. Luckily, later on in the, they did a good job in the writing and the way they played it out, because later on, there are other parts where they kind of flushed out and explained what Namor was all about. So, I know some people were like, they didn't like this were reviews of some of the people that I follow before I went to see it, and they were talking about they didn't like the way he had the pointed ears and some of that kind of stuff. Kind of nitpicky. Like I said, if you watch the episode I did previous to this, when I was just saying, a lot of people are reviewing it, hadn't seen it, and basing it on the trailers. Well, you know, I never seen Namor in the comic book, so I had no clue, no preconceived idea of what Namor was supposed to look like. So didn't have a problem with Namor. Um, I will say this: a lot of reviews from the first premiere of it, and I think it was John Campia. They were doing the review that night, what people were kind of saying about it, and a lot of people were saying that his acting and all of that for it was like they were trying to put it like it was super fantastic. I'm not saying it was bad; it wasn't bad, but that's super fantastic. They were making it out like he was Heath Ledger playing the Joker almost. Like, no, come on, no, he wasn't that. He was very good. He did a excellent job at bringing this character to life that I didn't know. Now, there are going to be some other people who read comic books every day of their, at least every Wednesday when they come out, they go pick them up and they read all of them. It's been so long since I really read comic books like that, and when I read them back in when I was younger or a child, um, I never even heard of Namor, so I ain't have a problem with him. So there'll probably be some people who just from the what they were saying about him in the trailer are gonna be like, I didn't like him, whatever. If you are a very straight up stickler about comic books, then maybe you won't like Namor. I don't see why, but I didn't read the comics, so I'm ignorant on that part. But as a person who never heard of him, seen him, whatever, he was fine. Was he the greatest anti-hero, enemy, threat, or all of that? Nah, he wasn't that. But he was good. He was good. He didn't throw me off. So anyway, that was that. What I said about Namor. I said I didn't get him yet, but like I said later on, I ended up getting him. I ended up understanding him and his plot and why he was the way he was. And that's always important to know why someone is the way they are. Okay. Next thing I said, it was good to see Agent Ross. Definitely, he's a good character to have in the movie. I think they played him well throughout the movie. Um, it seems that he's going to be a stable um, regular in anything that's Black Panther related when it comes to the MCU. So that's awesome. I like him. He's a good actor. He brings a little comic relief sometimes. Um, so I get him. He's very good. Good to see Ross. And then jump maybe a scene or two They talk about this MIT student that Siri and the head of, I'm terrible with names, so forgive me, but the female army brigade of Wakanda, they went to, I guess MIT is that in New York or yeah, that's in Massachusetts. Excuse me. I think it's in Boston, MIT. Um, they went to MIT to get the student who created the instrument that can uh, detect vibranium, which was big. It was a big, humongous thing, danger to the world, basically, or the stability of the world. And just amazing to find out that there is vibranium that's not just in um, Wakanda. So I didn't know who the student was. I thought it was pretty neat. They were looking for her. Um, so good scenes throughout that. They did a little comedy in it between Siri and I forget her name, but the commander of the Wakandian female army. So that's pretty decent. Comedy was, I give it, a little comedy back and forth. I give it a, let me keep it 100. I give it a 6 out of 10. It wasn't terrible. I did laugh some, but it wasn't one of those unforgettable moments. It can be somewhat forgotten, but still pretty good. And then I was another question I came up with is why is the Wakandian, who was the leader, the female Wakanda army commander, why was she wearing glasses that had, she was wearing some sunshades that had LV, I guess, which is Louis Vuitton. It just seemed a little weird for the people of Wakanda to wear anything that isn't created in Wakanda. I thought that was a little, especially being that they're the ultimate we are set apart type of people. They're the ultimate we're not going to be like the other countries, and I'm not even gonna say the white people because they didn't share vibranium with other countries in Africa. So it's not a discriminatory thing when it comes to that. It's just a nationalist thing, I guess, whatever you want to call it, because they don't share vibranium with anyone. But then to see her wearing something that isn't created in Wakanda, I just laughed about it. It's not a deal breaker or anything like that, but it was funny to me. I thought it was kind of something that they shouldn't have did just because they're very good at keeping Wakanda, and that was kind of off of Wakanda. But I mean, they probably got some money for it, I guess. The advertisement, just like having the Lexus vehicle that they were driving, which is that Lexus vehicle is very nice. And before I go too much deeper, and I probably put it in my notes just to talk about the fashion thing, they did an outstanding job with the fashion of those in Wakanda, which are mostly the women. Didn't really see much on the male part, the men in Wakanda, but uh, the fashion was outstanding. What the Queen wore in multiple scenes, including there was one scene, I think the scene where she went to Haiti. That outfit that she had on was fabulous. I loved it. It was sharp, and some of Siri's outfits were top notch too. So whoever their fashion designer for the Wakanda stuff, especially the royal heirs of Wakanda, they did outstanding. I mean, wonderful. Um, Big ups to that designer. So I left off at the Louis Vuitton glasses or the LV. I guess that's what it is. You can see how much I know about fashion, but I'm pretty sure the LV is Louis Vuitton. Um, then they had a scene where they showed the scientist, this young 19-year-old scientist, and I guess it's important for to point out, mostly because she ends up going to Wakanda, and you know how Wakanda is. But I mean, they took Bucky, and Bucky wasn't, but she was black, and of course we find out who she is depicting later on. I didn't know. I didn't know anything about her character or who she was as a superhero in the comics. Is another one that, like I said, I've been out of comic books for decades, but I'm sure my kids knew them, and that's why you want to watch um, real soon. It'll probably be coming out within the next 2 days. What they say about it, whether they're debating anything or any of that kind of stuff. Um, and they'll go more into the deep dive of the if it's lined up with the comic books. Um, so, but as I was saying, it was the MIT student. They had the little dorm room, and I said it was ça va comme ci comme ça, which French just mean it was alright. If you're an MJF fan from AEW, you'd be like, it was mid, wasn't bad, wasn't great, you know. I felt like, and I feel like the character Riri, the way they had this young lady, whoever the young lady is that played Riri, which she was fine enough. They had her a little bit too stereotypical 19-year-old black girl, you know. Seemed like they kind of went hard to try to make it that way. And this girl is super, super intelligent. And I just felt like that kind of depiction of her wasn't what I would think that she would be as a super intelligent MAT student who's making money bank off of other MIT students who need certain things, whether it's help, apps. She's an amazing creator. Um, so it's cool. It was alright. So they had a scene where basically the U.S. government is after her. Also, the underworld is after her, and the reason why Siri and the commander are going to get her is to try to protect her because they know that Namor wants her and he wants to kill her. Which that part of the plot I did not quite understand. Why do you want to kill this scientist? Because they created a machine that can find vibranium. I'll put it this way. His trepidation with them being discovered because they had vibranium and they had access to the vibranium. His trepidation for it, I think, was kind of weird in the script of it. Like, you know, because his nation is deep, 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 deep underwater. I mean, deep underwater. You know, as we know, humans aren't able to go that deep. So why would he be worried about them coming to get him? Not unless, only thing I could think of, he understands how valuable vibranium is, and somehow they can use it to make some type of suits that can go that deep and they can come after them. Um, so, hmm. uh, so all in all, I guess also I didn't like the way they exactly depicted the United States, but that's me. Some would say I'm taking it overboard. Hey, I'm just patriotic. I felt like they took it a little bit too far with making it sound like America is always after people, which sometimes you can feel that way. So anyway, This is just my thought. Just my thought. Okay, so they're after her. Siri and the leader um, are telling her, "Hey, come on, you're gonna go with us." The commander is like, "Hey, you can either go one way, you can go um, walking, or I carry you, or something like that." With some comment, it was decent. Their whole interaction was just mid. That little whole the MIT comedy and the talking and all of that was a little mid. It picked up a little bit when they finally got her because she had a whole garage warehouse. And at first I was like, how does she have that? Then I was like, oh heck no, yeah, she can have that. She's a super scientist and people are buying stuff from her that she creates. So of course she can have the whatchamacallit, she can have easily have the um, garage building and all of that, pay rent or however. So in the garage, she has her dad's car, beautiful car. But also, we find out when the feds show up, she has created an iron suit. Now, they saved us being able to see it until it was time for her to put it on because the feds were getting ready to jump into the garage. So, um, the commander gets into her dad's old car that she worked on and fixed up. Siri gets onto a motorcycle, and Riri, which is her name, she gets into the iron suit. Okay, so all that being said, I guess let me touch on the iron suit. The iron suit was pretty cool. I mean, they kind of took it the same way that in Iron Man 1, something that she created herself, all of that, even though we didn't see that part at that point. But it was pretty cool. Um, the way it operated seemed like it was pretty cool. Um, yeah. But that scene, as far as the action scene, reminiscent to when T'Challa and also the leader went to the Asian country in Black Panther 1. It's kind of like that. It didn't hit the same though. Sorry, it didn't hit the same. I mean, because you think about two of the great scenes in the MCU when it comes to uh, car racing or anything like, or cars and automobiles and racing and stuff like that. It goes to the Black Panther, and then it also goes to Civil War. Remember when Bucky is on? I think Bucky was on a motorcycle. T'Challa got on a motorcycle, and somebody was in a car, something like that. I know you remember the scene. Takes a while for everything to come back. But that was super exciting. That was one of the great scenes in MCU. The one with Black T'Challa, Black Panther, was one of the great scenes in MCU. This one was once again okay. It was good. It was very good. It was not what those other ones were. So, um, she did stuff with the iron suit, and like I said, the feds were after them. But then next thing you know, bang, Namor and his people show up. Man, it gets real. Them folks go hard. Now I will say this, and when we were driving back from the movies, I told I told both super twins. I said, hey, those people from the water underworld, Nemar's people, they remind me so much of almost they can be in Avatar, which comes out, of course, in December. Avatar 2, because they have a blue hue and all of that kind of stuff. So that was very interesting. Um, so, I said the comedy in the dorm room, saw I couldn't sleep inside. Iron Suit was pretty sweet. I did like it. The people from Namor's village, I mean his people, they were riding in on a whale. The scene was fly. I liked the scene. The idea of them riding on the whale, Aquaman style, but theirs was, that whale was big, was pretty neat. But when they made it come up, the problem I have throughout the Black Panther with some scenes is, and but that's, I'm not just saying that for the Black Panther. It's been this way for a lot of films lately, and I know they said, I was watching, that might have been John Campia, who was saying that the CGI studios are just so backed up right now, and they're high demand, and they may be getting rushed on some stuff, in the processing of making them and all of that kind of stuff. And if that's the case, I kind of believe it, because I've been seeing it in almost all these films this year that rely on CGI. The only one that I would say, and I don't think they used a whole lot of CGI, but the only one I can say that I didn't have a problem with their CGI, I guess too, was Bullet Train. Their joint was good, and then of course Top Gun. But I'm pretty sure Top Gun used no CGI to super very little. Probably the same thing for Bullet Train. Bullet Train was excellent, with their CGI. I know they did use a little. What they used, it was good. It hit well. It hit right. Okay, so as we walk on down, said the Iron Suit was pretty good. The whale looked a little fake. Uh, then when Namor and the student Riri had a conversation or dialogue between the two, I did say that Riri's joke landed a little short. It was like a lot of Riri's jokes unfortunately landed short, and I like Riri's character. The young lady who played Riri, she was pretty good. Just the jokes landed a little short. Um, so, and then I said she was a little stereotypical. That's what I said earlier. Um, then in that scene where they show up, they pretty much obliterate the feds, and their whole objective is to get um, Riri, because she created the suit. And Siri and them are trying to fight them to keep them off. And tell you, they kicked the commanders behind. That's how bad they are, especially Namor. Um, and then Siri tried to fight and or protect, and the only way she could was using her mind and saying, "Hey, you could take me, don't take her." And he basically was like, "I'll take both of you anyway." So he took them to the underwater world, and that was a beautiful scenery. That was very good CGI, very good scenery. I like the way they did Namor's world. Um, I'm not able to think of anything off the top of my head I didn't like about that scene. Uh, and I don't think I wrote anything down about that part. So, um, the history of Namor with his people, or his actual name, I wrote it down somewhere. I got a lot of notes. We already at 30 minutes. I might have to kind of run through them hard. So, uh, the story of how they got started, and things that happened to lead up to it reminded me of Jim Jones and um, people drinking the Kool-Aid, because they really drank something for their lead that the leader told them to drink. It's a little Jim Jones for me. I know younger people probably know very little about it. Shoot, darn, some people my age probably know very little about it. But just look it up. The whole, when people say, "Oh, they drank the Kool-Aid," they got it from that. And anyway, but the story that was told, it was decently moving. Um, Namor got his name meaning child without love. I did say funny how they circled back to slavery days in part of it, but it wasn't preachy. It's just a time set, and it's not the first time Marvel's done that. But I'm sure some of the content creators will probably say something about it. They might say it was wokish. But I don't think it was so wokish. I think it was just a way to put it in the scene and to let you know the time span of when it happened and how they landed on the island. And hey, shoot, you almost wish they would have landed on every land during slave time so we could have ended slavery right then, because they had what it took for real. So, uh, Talokan, that is the capital city of where Namor and his people are from. Um, I did try to figure out a question of why did he have to protect their land from the people on in the upper realm. And I guess, like I said earlier, maybe it was just because of the fact that if they got a hold of vibranium, then they could cause damage and create suits that they can go almost anywhere. Um, I'm guessing that's what it is. But when I think about it, Wakanda didn't go down into the water. Well, oh, yeah, they did later on. So, moving on. um, yeah, I'll get back to that one. It, yeah, I did make a remark because I know it's gonna come up with a lot of other content creators about it having the woman empowerment, woman king type of feel. Like they could have really waited and not even done the woman king, and this would have easily took its place. Because we didn't see many men with my complexion, Wakandians. We didn't see many of them really having a prominent role in it, except for Mbaktu, however you say his name. He's my favorite character in it. He was in it. Everything. Winston, man, is a great actor, and what he does is almost always great. And he does this character top level. So I'm gonna try to rush through this because we're at 33 minutes, and I've never done a video this long. Uh, I really don't talk this much, monologuing. I don't know how many people are still watching because this is long for me, but I said it was going to be a true and honest review. So maybe a lot of this other stuff I'll save for when me and the twins, super twins, get together and hammer this stuff out. I will say Namor's real name is Kukulkan. I think that's how you say it. Um, so, yeah, it's a lot more. I was writing notes real good. So let me kind of summarize everything at the end of all of this. Uh, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I feel like they could have dropped the name Black Panther and just did Wakanda Forever. But they did enough at the end, to make sure that, especially the last one third of the movie, to make sure it is about the Black Panther. And yes, I'm sure by now most of you already know because the internet is one, undefeated, and two, unable to keep a secret that Siri is the new Black Panther. And the way she becomes it is only Siri can become it the way she became it and start up the Black Panther again. It was amazing. It was Wakandian. Probably no other nation, no other person probably could have did it the way she did it. Siri is probably one of the absolute smartest characters in all the comic books or movies, at least, because I don't know all the comics. But I don't know anyone scientifically that is up there with her. Not Peter Parker, not um, Not his nemesis was named Oswald. Nobody. She, with the help of the tech and all of that they have in Wakanda, she is amazing. Uh, so, how did she do as being the Black Panther? Their scenes were great. Um, I'll give their fight scenes with her character of the Black Panther leading them. I'll give her fight scenes that she was involved in. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Um, Fight scenes overall, the friction between all of them, I'm probably sticking around 6 to 7 out of 10. Um, so yeah, other things I feel about it is what some people were afraid of did become pretty much true. Um, it was kind of a black woman empowerment type of movie. The same masculine feel that I got from Black Panther and being proud that a black male character was a lead on a multi $1 million product from Marvel. It was a lot of pride in that. A lot of pride in it. Seeing him take up the mantle and become king and all of that. It was super. It was amazing. Um, where Black Panther, I think, really did focus a lot on the males of Wakanda. Wakanda Forever definitely focused on the females of Wakanda. It's no getting around that. It was. You seen very few men in the scenes. I won't say that they demeaned men, um, but it wasn't one of those things where they lifted up men, other than Chadwick Boseman. Um, I told the Super Twins I felt like it was a little overkill on the salute to Chadwick Boseman. Um, in moments of mourning, I think it was too much mourning in it. I know a lot of people, well, I'll say the people that John Campea had, and he has a boku amount of followers, had commented on that actually saw the early preview of it. They were um, basically saying how fantastic it was, with all the mood swings and drama. Um, my drama organ isn't so intact anymore. After I lost my father in '98 and then my mother in about 2014, just emotional stuff sometimes kind of bores me. So I can be in it for a moment and then I'm good. I'm out of it. And I just felt like they had too much of it. The scene of the funeral when she was trying to save him, uh, that was good. I almost felt like they could stop it there. They have a few moments in between different conversations and stuff like that. It got overkill for me, but the way they did the ending was super and fantastic. It was an olive branch, I think, to the recast T'Challa people, which I was, or am, or whatever. Well, was, because they already did it. But the way they did it at the end was great. It gave hope to those who wanted to still see T'Challa king. And there's so many storylines that's still out there for T'Challa that for them not to bring T'Challa into the picture would have been tragic for the future of the MCU when it comes concerning the Black Panther. There was a Killmonger sighting. I'm not going to tell you how that happened. When me and the twins do it, Super Twins do it, might be a little bit different, but right now I won't tell you. But there was a Killmonger sighting. Um, Other things that highlights low lights, all of that. There were some of both. Uh, but overall, this movie, this is caught in the moment of time. Don't know how I'm going to feel about it 2 months from now. Because remember, I said in the previous episode that when the Black Panther originally came out, the first one, I put it above, I almost put it at the top of my movie list. I think it was either one or two, and also Avengers Infinity War was either one or two. And in both, I was caught and I was a victim of the moment in time. Then things, as time settles, it simmers and it readjusts, and order was brought to it because Purple Rain was still number one and Grease was still number two for me. But those two movies are still top 10-ish, yeah. This Black Panther won't be in the top 10. Probably won't be in the top 50 of my favorite movies of all time, but it will be up there. I feel like it's a bridge movie. If you look at it as a bridge movie and you look at it as this isn't necessarily a Black Panther movie, but a Wakanda movie that will kind of introduce the whole world in MCU to the new Black Panther, but hold on to your seat because she may only be the Black Panther for a moment in time, and eventually we will have T'Challa as the king because T'Challa has a kid, and the way they did that was wonderful. And there was another death in the movie, and so I said it was too much sadness and mourning in a lot of occasions. But the movie overall was good. Now you're gonna hear reviews on the wokeness, and I think they'll go overkill on it. Um, but they'll get you clicks. They'll get you clicks because they'll be saying it. Ryan Kendall will say, "So effing top. They did this so effing messing up the effing MCU. This, all of that. I like you, Ryan. You cool. You entertain me. And you are right sometimes. Then other times you're like, yeah, I'm gonna keep this dice rolling because I'm on a roll. And then you don't roll. You roll snake eyes or whatever it is that you end up losing your money. Because sometimes I'm like, bruh, really, bruh. And same for some of the other content creators when it comes to MCU stuff. But then on the other side, John Campia will probably try to be too generous about it and be like, no, it's wonderful. He's kind of Mr. Catch the feels type of person, so he entertains me too. But the truth be told, you'll have to see it for yourself, and do go see it. It's worth your money. It really is. I didn't walk away like, dang, I didn't burn um, however much we paid for all three of us. It didn't feel like I burnt the tickets, a waste of my time. It's well worth it. Will we go see it as much as we saw the original Black Panther? Probably not. We went to see it either 4 or 5 times. I do not remember. We loved it. And you got to think about, like I said in the previous episode, when it came out. It came out near Black History Month, and all of that kind of stuff. February, very little competition to come. This, and so it Staying Power was ridiculously wonderful. I think they had about 6 to 8 weeks to play with before I think it was Avengers Infinity War came out. So uh, they have some time before they really get some competition. Because Black Panther probably won't have any competition until Avatar drops in its genre subsect. And then all the other movies that's coming out, I looked at the list. None of them move me. Like even the Thanksgiving movies, I'm not like moved like, wow, yeah, this is gonna be a great movie to come out Thanksgiving. All of them are gonna be good. We're gonna go see some. but none that's going to um, unseat Black Panther. And as a matter of fact, I feel like Black Panther will probably, this is my prediction, I feel like Black Panther is probably going to stay number one up until sometime early December. From all the movies that I've seen is going to be coming out, I don't see how it wouldn't. And when Thanksgiving rolls around, I think that its numbers are going to tick up. So it's going to be super high, of course, this weekend. A lot of people have been predicting 150 million. I was surprised how little bit of people were in the theater, even though we went to the 3 o'clock, the first show on the PDX, which is the equivalent to IMAX for the theater that we went to. Big ups, shout out Stone Theaters at the Point, Wilmington. So they have what they call PDX, which is a wonderful screen. Still was surprised about the lack of people that went to see it, and then the lack of people that were out there when we were leaving to get ready to go see another movie. If this is a prediction, a predecessor, a lot of people have been predicting. I think Black Panther is going to make $150 million first weekend. Well, we do have Veterans Day. And more than likely, kids are out of school on Veterans Day. I think. Not 100% sure. Our kids have been out of school for 2 years now. um, I'm predicting. I'm predicting 120 million, 120, 125 million. I feel like they're gonna fall short some. Um, some of it is going to be because people are upset about T'Challa not being in it, which is going to kill their people going back to see the movie. With the hashtag recast T'Challa. So that's on Marvel. I mean, my sons feel a bit different about the recast, which you'll hear. Um, then I think also social media, YouTube content creators aren't helping it out because they're already putting the negative bad word on it. So that may hold some people back. Um, and Marvel just hasn't been doing good lately. Marvel has really created something that is not going to inspire as many people to go back and see it because Marvel is not trusted right now. And it's their fault. Marvel has, and some say since Disney bought them out, Marvel has shown that they cannot be trusted by the the core group of uh, the comic book fandom, which would be people like my sons, which would be people like me, which would be like people like the people that they probably despise right now because they write rough reviews, the Ryan Kennels of the world, the Ripper of the world. Um, so they can keep on talking junk about them and being upset with them, or they can make the MCU back to what it used to be, which was fun, lots of action, and Marvel's not going to dig into some of the other stuff, you know, whether it's the political or the social stuff to the point where they're preaching to you about this and just saying, hey, we're trying to reach out. I would say this for Marvel and Disney. In a way, they're not very wise because they decided that they need to reach out to more people. And maybe it's greed, maybe it's ignorance. But you have a core group of fans that probably any movie universe would love to have. I mean, Fast and Furious have their fans, and even when they're gonna fly out in outer space, their fans are still gonna go back and watch them. But there are some others that don't have this core base. Probably some of your biggest core bases of a franchise are the comics, MC, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, even though it didn't start as a comic, Star Wars, Fast and Furious. So if you have that base, and that base is helping bring in other people to it to see the movie, and it's also um, those fans are rabid and will go back and see your movie multiple times. And you're going to say that's not enough. We don't care. We know they're going to do it. I think that's what can't happen. I think they got arrogant and said, we know they're going to come to anything we put out because they love our stuff. But we want to bring in some other people and we want to preach to you how we need this kind of character and that kind of character, and we're going to switch and flip characters. This character in the comics was white, but we're going to make them black. This character in the comics was white, but we're gonna make them Asian. This character was this, a straight male, and we're gonna make them gay. You know, just stop it. You're creative enough. Come up with new characters to put in the movie, and then just play it out like that. Don't change the characters up. We're not that ignorant. That's what most of the comic fans are saying, whether black or white. We're not ignorant. You don't need to always make a character into another race just to make us happy. Just create new characters or put a machine behind the characters we already have. We still waiting for the other Blade, Marcel Ali. I think is going to play him. Hopefully that works out good. Blade was great. Wesley Snipes did wonderful in 1 and 2. I think it was the third Blade that went that. It was okay. I think they rushed it. You know, we got enough characters out there, and you create new characters. Um, it's easy, and then you don't get caught up into um, some of the social media folks and YouTuber content creators who speak on it. You don't have to get them all upset about it. You know, you're making money. You're making crazy amounts of money. You were the most anticipated movie company because of what you were putting out, and now y'all just kind of threw it away. Don't do that. Ain't worth it. Just create new characters if you want to put somebody in there and change who they are or why they are. Don't do that. Just make a new character. And you never know how much people would appreciate it and might even like the character. That's me. Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. Very good movie. Go see it. Go see it this weekend. And I try not to get crazy about the stuff I see, but some of those people, maybe the theater was empty because all of these different type of people that have my complexion were going on social media talking about white people stay home. The dumbest thing in the world. You want to tank a movie before it even gets started. And if some of those people weren't there because y'all was up there saying don't go, leave it for us, the ignorance. You definitely don't understand how movies work. The first weekend, the most important weekend of them all. So for y'all that said that, matter of fact, really, I don't know if I can even put it on that, but I got to put it on for those of you who watched it and liked it and said, yes, Queen, yes, yes, that's right, y'all stay home. And then probably got some people, if this is the case, y'all got some people of other nationalities, other skin colors, not going to see this movie this weekend, and y'all torched it. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Why? And for any people that don't have the complexion as myself, if you see this the first weekend of Black Panther, many of us black people, and I bet you I speak for Ryan Coogler and everybody involved with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, please go see the movie. Don't go see the movie. Ignorance, madness at 55 minutes and 55 seconds. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Go see it. Another review with the Super Twins coming up soon. Good night.